Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Super Sports Central. Today, we have my final college football rankings of the 2022-2023 college football season. So, going over my rankings before bowl season, we had number 10, Penn State. They beat Utah in the Rose Bowl 35-21. Number 9 was Tennessee. They destroyed Clemson in the Orange Bowl, winning 31-14. 8 was USC. They lost to Tulane in the Cotton Bowl 46-45. 7 was Utah. They lost to Penn State in the Rose Bowl 35-21. 6 was Kansas State. They got demolished by Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, losing 45-20. 5 was Alabama. They crushed Kansas State, as I just said. 4 was Ohio State. They narrowly lost to Georgia in Peach Bowl, 42-41. 3 was TCU. They beat Michigan in the Fiesta Bowl, 51-45, and then got destroyed by Georgia in the national championship game, losing 65-7. 2 was Michigan. They lost to TCU in the Fiesta Bowl, 51-45, and 1 was Georgia, who beat Ohio State in the Peach Bowl, and then they destroyed TCU in the national championship game. So my rankings coming in at number 10, we have Washington. So they jumped into my top 10 after they defeated Texas in the Alamo Bowl. They had a great season, finishing 11-2. They had some great wins over Oregon, Oregon State, and Texas. Overall, a really good season for Washington. And they enter my rankings at number 8 after winning the Alamo Bowl over Texas. 9, we have Kansas State. So they're ranked at number 9 for me. They're coming off a 10-win season. They finished 10-4. Some of their losses were to good teams. Actually, all 4 of their losses were to good teams: Tulane, Alabama, TCU, and Texas. They didn't have the greatest bowl performance, getting destroyed by Alabama. But they finished their season at number 9 for me. I could definitely see the argument having them lower. I could definitely see Washington above them. I could see Kansas State not even in the top 10, but I have to have them at 9. But Kansas State at 9 for me. 8, we have Tulane. So they were one of the most surprising teams this season. They finished the season at 12-2 with a big win over USC in the Cotton Bowl. They ran all over USC for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Tulane is also the first Group of 5 team to win a New Year's Six bowl game since 2017 when UCF beat Auburn. Overall, a great season for Tulane. A big win to finish it off, and that puts Tulane in the top 10 for the first time this season at number 8. Number 7, we have Penn State. So they got the Rose Bowl win over Utah. They had some long touchdowns. They had the longest pass play in Rose Bowl history of 88 yards. And I do think Penn State's a bit overrated. I think they're a good team. They're just not an amazing team. Because when you look at the 2 best teams they played, Michigan and Ohio State, they weren't really that good against either of them. But I do have Penn State in the top 10 at number 7 to finish the season. Number 6, we have Tennessee. So they come in at number 6 after a dominant Orange Bowl win over Clemson 31-14. They found their next quarterback, Joe Milton, who threw for 251 yards and 3 touchdowns in the win. Tennessee finishes off a great season where they beat Alabama for the first time since 2006. They were also ranked number 1, and 11-2 is also their best finish since 2001. Tennessee enters at number 6. Number 5, we have Alabama. They remain at number 5 after a great Sugar Bowl performance, winning 45-20 over Kansas State. And it was a down year for Alabama standards, not making the playoff for just the second time in its 9-year existence. They still had a great season, 11-2, capping it off with a dominant Sugar Bowl win and finishing the season in the top 10. For me, they finish at number 5. Number 4, we have Ohio State. So getting to the top 4 is a bit difficult because you have Ohio State at 4, which is who I have, but they could really be argued for 2 because they went down to the wire against Georgia and only lost because of a missed field goal. But I can't put them above Michigan because Michigan beat Ohio State, and I can't put Ohio State at 2 above Michigan and TCU because TCU beat Michigan. But I do think Ohio State had a very good season. They finished 11-2 and at number 4 in my rankings. With if they didn't play TCU or if they didn't play Michigan, who then lost TCU, they'd probably be higher. But Ohio State at number 4. Number 3, we have Michigan. They dropped down to number 3 after the loss to TCU. They weren't great defensively, allowing 51 points. They also had several mistakes, causing them to lose the game. They finished the season at 13-1, Big Ten champions as well, and they are ranked at number 3. Number 2, we have TCU. So they got absolutely destroyed by Georgia in the national championship game, but they had a great season. They went 13-2, one of the most surprising teams in the nation this season. TCU enters at number 2, despite the blowout loss in the national championship game. But they had so many unexpected wins, and TCU caps off a great season, ranked number 2. And number 1, no surprise here, it's Georgia. They showed why they're the top team in the country. They're the clear number 1 team. They crushed TCU, putting up a national championship game record 65 points. And they only scored they actually didn't score on only 2 drives, where they punted on one and the end of the game was the other. And they're the clear team to beat in college football. They finish off their perfect 15-0 season, back-to-back championships, and Georgia enters at number 1. So those are my final rankings of the 2022-2023 college football season. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on notifications. I do my best to post as often as possible. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my rankings, disagree, and why. But make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on notifications to notice any of the upcoming videos. I do my best to post as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.